Hi, I'm Neelima Chakra. I coach professionals to increase their capacity and effectiveness, be visible, valued, and rewarded, and be the leaders they want to be. I welcome you to the first episode of the series Leading with Purpose. I hope you enjoy it and it inspires you.
Hi everyone. In today's episode of Leading with Purpose, I'm hosting Vikas Madaan. Vikas is Growth and Strategy Lead for Cybersecurity in Accenture India. He has 25 years of diverse work experience. He has done a variety of things like establishing, developing, and managing portfolios, practices, service lines. He has managed global outsourcing engagements and developed strategies for increasing business penetration. When we initially met, he was leading group learning for Capgemini. He volunteers his time on the board of Project Management Institute, North India chapter, and also Jaipur School of Business. He's a B.Tech by qualification and has 36 certifications in different domains, one of which is a certification in cybersecurity. So welcome, Vikas. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you, Neelima.
All right, so let's jump in.
Mhm.
We'll start with a rapid fire round. So, one word answers is what I'm looking for from you. First question is, what did you want to be when you were a child?
Oh, that's easy. I didn't know at that point of time, but now I know. It's called theoricist cosmologist.
Okay.
Am I allowed to explain? I don't know. It's a one word, so
Okay, go ahead. I'll hear that. It's very
yeah,
interesting.
I didn't know that. Actually, I have very deep interest in universe, stars, etc. And my dad used to ask me, "What do you want to do?" So I used to tell him that these things on the sky they attract me. But engineering was the only thing at that point of time. So I got into engineering, but I kept studying, and now I know that okay, this was theoricist cosmologist, which was the field which I wanted to get into,
Okay. And
like Stephen Hawking,
college.
Einstein of the world, that thing.
Okay. All right. Very, very interesting. All right. We go back to rapid fire. Uh,
Hmm.
one word that your family would use to describe you.
Oh, Jugadu.
One word that your team would use to describe you.
Um, I think approachable, or maybe transparent, or sensible. I don't know. Pick anyone.
Okay. One thing that you're passionate about outside of your work.
So currently, astrology. I'm like, as more I get into this, more I realize how powerful it is.
Hmm.
So that's one which is on top of my mind for the last over a year now.
Okay. All right. One person that you're inspired by.
Okay, again, nowadays it's Prime Minister Modi, and I know it sounds cliche for many people, but there is a reason behind that. So I went to a remote place, so we drove like 12, 1300 kilometers. It was
Mhm,
just last week. And I
mhm.
went to a very remote village called Munsiari. It's in Uttarakhand and quite up. And when I speak to the people on ground there from the village, and the things they explained that what are the benefits they have started getting and how the government has helped, then I realized actually the tax money that I'm giving is actually getting utilized at the correct place now. So yeah, nowadays it's more. I initially used to hear stories from friends, but now I observed myself. So I think he's doing really great for our people.
At this point of time, that's a very strong endorsement.
Yeah, at this point of time, your idealism keep on changing, right?
See, the way the world is nowadays, the pace of change is just going on increasing. We have all kinds of disruptions, geopolitical, disruptive technologies. How
Yeah,
do you deal with all the disruption that we are confronted with nowadays?
the pace of change indeed it has never been there what we see today, and there are I'm sure there are if you ask someone, there are some typical answers. You upskill people, you stay relevant, you build your network, invest in your, invest in upskilling yourself, learn new things. What I also think it's an era of information overload. People have fear of missing out, the FOMO term, which now the Gen Z uses.
Mm.
What I think is, you know, pick your bet. That's what I think is important. Information is there. The pace is so fast with this AI coming in. We have AI dealing with an AI. So as a human being, you cannot catch up the pace.
Mm.
So unless you are a machine. So what I would suggest that, pick your bet, what exactly you want to do, and then just stick to that. You don't have to think through, because I see people in my team also, oh no, this thing has come up, now that thing has come up. I have to learn this as well, do this and enjoy this, invest in this. Don't try to do that, because otherwise you will burn out and you will have more stress levels, nothing else. So
Mm.
while the pace is changing, and that's where it becomes important, that select your niche area, where you want to, where do you see yourself, what do you think are your core strengths, and accordingly you invest your time and energy and you upskill and you learn, and then you try investing time in that technology. So that's what I think is important, because otherwise there are a lot of things which you have to just filter them down.
Yeah,
So select where what you want to do.
right. Okay, great. Um, so my next question is, what do you think is today's biggest leadership challenge, and how are you dealing with it?
I think it's related to your first question, the pace of change.
Mm.
That's one thing, because every time, every 6 months, there's a new technology, there's a new term in the market. And the interesting part is that clients come to you and they ask you, hey, you know what, this is something that I've heard about. So first of all, do you know what it is? Can you tell me? So you have to give that gyan and that awareness. Second, how do you think it is relevant for me? Then you need to have a use case as well. And then, do you have skills to deliver it for me? So then you suddenly need to have a capability and capacity also. And this is just something that has come few months back.
Mm.
Like fabric security is a buzzword which I see in security nowadays. Gen AI security was there 6 8 months back. Fabric security is a new buzzword, came 3 months back, 3 4 months back. So suddenly, then you need to have people who understand it. You need to upskill. You need to have capability ready, and then you need to also have the client case studies and some use cases ready with some demo environment which you can demonstrate to the clients.
Mm.
So all of that you have to develop, and by the time you mature in one, welcome, there's another one. So you have to again, while you are continuing with this, you have to again build that.
Yeah.
So all of that is very challenging nowadays. And I think the way to deal with is, yes, you have to first, as I said, you have to select that, okay, which areas do you want to invest in? What do you do? We have tie-ups with our OEMs, and we often take their help in upskilling our people. We have the demo labs as well. We have training curriculum. So we train our people there, and we make sure that we have capability ready. So all of that, something goes hand in hand. But you have to be on your toes, and you have to just make sure that whatever you're doing, it's relevant, and it's relevant for the clients as well.
Yeah, that
So to
relevance is
keep
very
investing.
important because, I mean, yes, I'm using the latest and greatest technology, but what is the problem that I'm trying to solve? Uh, you know, that is where that relevance becomes important, the heart
Yeah,
of.
yeah, exactly. I run boot camps every month on different technologies,
Mm.
just to make sure that people are aware and we have the capability and capacity ready when it comes to delivering and having the client presentations. What are the use cases?
Mm.
If we are delivering for one client, then can we use that client case study as
Mm.
a reference? So all of that, it's chaotic, but it's interesting. It keeps you very very busy.
All right, interesting. Thank you. Um, so you were sharing such a diverse background you have, and life is hardly ever perfect. So, how have you dealt with the setbacks that you faced in your life, professional life?
Well, I don't think there is a single recipe or a silver bullet for setbacks. Every setback is different. If someone is not promoted, then it's a different setback. You have lost a client deal you're working on for the last 6 months. That's a different setback. Personal front, you have different setbacks. So every setback is different, and I think the way to deal with the setback is also different. But one thing I'll share, what I have observed, whenever these things happen, there are sometimes days which don't, the days which don't go well with you. That's how I say it. And then there are days where you kind of outshine and outperform. So when the day is there, when it's not going well with you, then I don't I don't react. And I just sit back and I accept and admit, okay, today is not my day. I'll just switch off for like 1 hour or so, and then I'll just divert my attention to some other place. And what I've also realized over number of years, that when I take a break and when I relook into the problem again, maybe in the morning when I'm going for a walk, or maybe in the evening when I'm taking my kid to an academy, and you get some time to think through, then most of the time it's entirely different perspective. Even if I tell my people as well that if some email has come, sometimes there are emails from some people which kind of you get boiled, and then I tell them, okay, you draft the response, don't send it, just keep it there, and then look at it tomorrow. Nothing will happen in 24 hours. It's fine. And when they come back and relook into this, 100% of the time they change the response, because that's how our minds work.
Yeah.
So if it is a setback, my style is that I don't react. I don't immediately respond. If the whole day is like that, I just switch off myself for an hour or two, and then I get back to it with a new perspective. Just distract myself and then come back again. So then I think something happens in the brain. So you have a different perspective altogether. So that I have found quite powerful to deal with any kind of setback. But yes, setbacks are different. So days are also different. Lessons learned are also different.
Yeah. But stepping back, taking a distance is what helps you.
Yes. Yeah. Step back, just relax, distract, and then come back. You always have a fresh perspective.
Yeah. So often I wake up with the solution in the morning.
Often you do. Yes. Yes. It happens. When you get up in the morning, you say, oh my God, I didn't think of it yesterday. Yeah, this could be another one.
Yeah.
Because you are working in a beta mode. You're just working. It's just output driven brain. You work in the alpha or a gamma mode. There you get some time to reflect, to think through, because it's like 9, 10 hours, 12 hours a day, back to back meetings, and then you have emails to respond, then there are chat messages, then you have client orders, then you have to get pulled into the calls. You don't get time to reflect. And when you respond in the beta mode, then brain acts different. But when you respond in an alpha mode, then it's a different perspective altogether. So just avoid the beta mode, get back with a fresh perspective the next day, or whenever you're taking a break or after the walk. So you're right. Yes, in the morning, sometimes you just get up with a fresh idea. That happens at times.
Right. So, because when you hire people for your teams, what do you look for in them beyond the hard skills that they need to do their jobs?
Well, I think other than hard skills, see, and that's another interesting thing, because you have the mechanism, you have the tests, you have the whole platform, where you can put a person in and all the hard skills are tested. There are a lot of these type of tests, but for the soft skill, it's very different. The skill which I tell, even when I go to the colleges and I tell the students, and also when I meet people, what I realize, at least especially in this generation, I think the way they have brought up, where they have access to everything, and the parents are also they are quite settled. They pamper their children very much. One is that I have often observed a kind of a give up attitude. That happens often in this skill. So I have a 16-year-old guy, a young boy in my home, so I know. So very enthusiastically, they will take an initiative. But after, when they see that, oh, there is a little bit hardship in this, they say, oh, you know what, I don't want to do it. So one is that give up attitude is quite common there. And then the second thing that I have observed is, the sense of ownership, end-to-end ownership. That is something which is kind of lacking in the generation today. They see it like a very, very boxed approach, that this is something that I have to do and I'll just do it. But they miss that end-to-end ownership that is sometimes required. I give you a small example which happened today morning. It's quite funny that, so I went to drop my son, and while I was coming back, I called up my wife and I said, hey, can you ask the maid to give me the AirPods? I plan to go for a walk. And I stopped by, and her name is Nancy. So Nancy came out. She had my AirPod, and she also had the Jabra Bluetooth. And I said, why have brought the Jabra Bluetooth? So she bought those two small casings. And she goes, actually, when I was bringing the AirPod, I opened it and the orange light was there instead of green. So probably they are not charged enough. So you might need another one. That's why I brought it.
Mhm.
And I was like, that's the sense of ownership that I expect from people.
Yeah.
Today, she she was able to think through that why I have asked for it rather than just being mechanical. Okay, something was required. This is it, and I give it to you. But
Mm.
she didn't realize she thought through it that what exactly is the requirement, and accordingly she took an action. She brought another set of doodles as well. So
Mm.
that's the sense of ownership. Important piece is that we understand anyone who understands the why. If you have been given a task, understand that why you have been given this task, and then you try to deliver it because then you entirely have a different perspective altogether. And as I said, the good thing is that if you have that one sense of ownership, that is one skill that will sail you long in the organization and you will have a bright future. Because that is something which I find severely lacking nowadays, not only in the corporates, but also, if I give my car for a repair or if I, ask a vendor to come and do something for me for house repair or something, it is just okay. I've been asked to do this, I do it and do. They don't think through end to end, like the user experience, the design thinking that we talk about. Get into the user shoe and understand why this thing has been asked, what that person is going through. So that one skill I think is very key. I don't think there is any scale to measure that. It is just by discussing with people and asking some examples. You come to know that okay, what is the thought process of the person.
Mm.
But that is one skill which I definitely look for, having that sense of ownership, understanding the why,
Mm.
and yeah, then having a different perspective of delivering it.
Don't just learn to begin, learn to end also.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Okay, good. Thank you. Um, you know, when we speak to professionals, especially those who are experienced professionals, we keep telling them, take charge of your career, own your career, you're the boss of your own career. So, what would be your advice or guidance on what can a mid-senior professional actually do, which amounts to
Mhm.
taking charge of the career?
Well, I would again go back to, I typically call it TBA, another three-letter acronym you'll hate me for. The tick box attitude.
Mhm.
Like, so if I'm asking someone, hey, let's present this to this person or let's work on this particular initiative, they just do it like tick in the box. Okay, I've been asked 6 o'clock I have to leave or 7 o'clock I have to leave. Let me just finish this quickly and get it off my back.
Mm.
That's the attitude which I find very common nowadays in the middle management. And that's what I call it the tick in the box attitude. That okay, something was given, tick in the box, and I'm leaving. Uh, Rather, if you think through again, going back to that sense of ownership, thinking end to end, why I have been asked to do this thing. If you understand, then probably your outcome will be much different than having that tick in the box. Okay, I've been asked to work on this slide, this offering put together, and then I put together my offering and I'm done. But if you understand that, okay, you have put together the offering for who? Is it for internal? Is it for client? For
Mm.
who? What is the purpose? What we are trying to achieve by showing them our offerings?
Mm.
Then suddenly your perspective and even your offerings, the way present you present it, that will also change.
Mm.
So don't have that TBA tick in the box attitude. Rather think through end to end that why you have been given something,
Mm.
what is the outcome, what is expected from you, and then you start working on it.
Mm.
That will suddenly change your perspective on change your way of working as well.
Mm.
Having, another thing which I tell people whenever you go to the boss, you go with a problem. Oh, you know what? This thing is not working. What do I do? So that is again not a skill that is expected from a, mid-level management who are aspiring to come into the senior leadership. Always go to your boss with a solution, maybe multiple solution, and ask which solution you think will work best in the present dynamics.
Mm.
That's the right approach.
Mm.
Rather than saying, oh, you know what, this thing is broken. Now what do I do? Don't go, what do I do? Tell them that I think we can do these three things. You tell me which one will be better in current scenario, or if there is anything else that you would like to suggest. So
Mm.
always go back with that. So that will help two ways. One, obviously, if you have presented some options, that means you have thought through the problem well, and you have a better grip on the problem, and you are in a better control to solve it. And then second is also, the way management sees you. That okay, out of all the lot, this is the guy who thinks through it and comes to me with solutions. So making your boss's job easy, basically. So that's another thing which I would tell the middle layer management. So don't have the TBA thing, tick in the box attitude. and always go with solution. Whenever you're going to your manager, always think, go with a solution. You never go with a problem.
Mm.
That will help you a lot.
Yeah, yeah. I often see that people think, oh, this is my role, and therefore this is what I do, or this is who I am,
Yeah,
and this is how I behave. But
exactly.
this is where,
The story that I told you, and not a story, it's actually the real incident that happened today morning. Now, my mate could have easily said that, oh, this is not my job. I've been told to do this. But then again, stepping back, thinking through why this thing has been asked. I know people will ask me that, oh, where do I get this service from? This home servant from? That's not the case. But irrespective of what level are you at, what you are doing, doesn't matter. Just think, how can you value add in what you do?
yeah.
And then definitely, yes, everything else will follow.
Because I would actually also say that when people start thinking like this, they get more satisfaction from their work. Otherwise, often people complain, oh, I'm only doing PPTs, I am only
Yes,
doing reports.
exactly.
But the moment you start thinking about why, that work has so much more
Yeah,
value. Yeah.
yes, that's true. There was a blip in the light. Looks like it's back.
Good. All right. Is there any one message that you want to leave that middle management professional layer with, beyond what you already said? Very valuable advice that was.
Uh, I would say don't have the victim attitude. You know what? This thing always happens to me. My manager never likes me. Uh, I'm never able to get to the deals. Whenever I work, this happens. I'm always seen like this. I'm the only one who is doing this. So don't have that victim attitude that you are victim of something. Just take charge. I mean, don't, as we said, don't moan.
Yeah.
Don't have that victim attitude. It is always me. You always think things are not in your control, but some other way they are. You can manage them. There could be multiple ways to manage it. Withdrawing from it is also one of the ways, depending on what the problem is. So, but don't have that victim attitude.
Thank you so much, Vikas. I enjoyed the conversation. It was very, very useful. I think our audience will benefit from it too. I really appreciate you spending the time here with me.
Thank you so much. It's always lovely to talk to you and get your insights as well.
Thank you so much for listening to this episode. Don't forget to share what resonated with you and what else would you like to hear from leaders like Vikas. I look forward to hearing from you.